right? So the real game is before the game starts. So there are some key strategic initiatives that you might be working on in your company that you are having it as a brainchild right now.
Yeah.
The people who are on top of your mind will be the people who you will handpick for the experimentative project. And usually, more often than not, these experimentative projects is where explosive growth happens for somebody's
Yeah.
career. And that happens only when you are known.
True.
So attention is the only commodity that is priced more than money today.
Correct.
So that attention is only when you know who to network with.
Yeah.
And how do you build relationships, not with an intent that I'm going to get something out of you,
Yeah.
but being genuine and building a relationship does matter is what.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously, if I had gone through the data scientist route, I don't know, probably by now I would have become somebody,
Yeah.
at a director level or something. But then, because of this whole thing, it kind of, helped me propel my career very fast
True.
compared to others.
True.
Gautam, if you would allow
Sure,
me,
sure, please.
would like to share our thoughts on navigating, corporate hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
So let me just compliment on what both of you said. So how do we establish a completely merit and performance driven organization? That becomes very, very
Oh, yeah.
critical. Where, the element of human bias is minimum.
True.
It is very difficult to accomplish, and it's not never a destination, it's a journey. But this is what, the end objective needs to be. So, your performance management system, your reward and recognition system,
Yeah.
an environment where the superstars know that they are superstars and rest of the organization know that they are superstars. They need to be treated differently.
True.
Then the next level, the very clear path for the next level in terms of they becoming superstar or they aspire to become superstar. So this environment where merit and performance is what should be driven is what will help organically people to navigate through corporate hierarchy.
Mm-hmm.
So relationship building many times is construed as sycophancy, and that's where the human bias comes in, and that's where the complications they come in. So how do we you obviously build a relationship, but I've seen in the tech world, especially in the deep tech world, where people are geeks, people are not temperamentally attuned to
Yeah.
build relationships, do networking. Now you can't discredit them because they are built that way. And you try whatever you want to do
Agree.
with them. Beyond a point, they'll not be able to change. Now they shouldn't be discredited when it comes to promoting them.
True.
So relationship building, yes, it is important, and not to disturb the apple cart is important, but at the same time just have an organization which is merit and performance driven.
Got it.
Yeah.
Interestingly, so when I was interviewing Saibed's SVP for this, right,
Hmm.
for my book Data's Destiny, so
Okay.
he mentioned he has a complete, a product built around people management,
Hmm.
where he says, so he was, we met in Pune, so where he was telling very clearly, ki, a guy from Pune or Mumbai would be very, very, extroverted and he'll talk a lot
Hmm.
and he'd be a great fit for, a project manager, business analyst kind of
Hmm.
a role.
Hmm.
But then there will be a guy from Sangli
Hmm.
who will be, who will not talk to anybody,
Yeah.
but he'll be a fantastic programmer.
Yeah.
So our organization should be structured in such a way that even the programmer from Sangli who does not talk
Yeah.
Yes.
has a clear way forward.
Yes.
And it cannot be all the way that only extroverted people who talk to
Sure.
others get their way around. But my question is that fantastic that they had built a product like that,
Hmm.
and you're talking about people having their own career path structured.
Sure.
But how difficult is it to have or build such a system within an organization? How do you identify what are the key things that you look at?
uh, I've always believed that people are your greatest asset,
Mhm,
but people are your greatest risk also. And
mhm,
especially when we are building BERT labs, where we are hiring people from IITs, we are hiring people from BITS. These are the two colleges we are hiring people from. The sense of entitlement is too an infinite times too high.
Yeah.
So that's where it starts when it comes to hiring people, and then how do we create a culture that culture totally diminishes the sense of entitlement? Because passing through IIT, yes, they have done job, they have done well as a student, but that necessarily doesn't infer that they'll do well when it
Yeah,
comes
in
to
the
corporate
corporate.
life. So that's where it starts. And in terms of building entirely merit and performance driven organization, that needs to be process driven. Process meaning I have an employment agreement. That employment agreement should have very clearly outlined KPIs, and those KPIs need to be number driven.
Yeah.
Even for HR leaders, for program management leaders, for even a research engineer, how do we have a KPI which is number driven? Meaning, how many patents a particular research engineer has filed, how many patents have been granted. So there is always a connection, between what they do in terms of research, innovation, development, and number. So that the uh, dependency on something which is abstract is minimum. Dependency on something which is qualitative is minimum. It is mostly number driven. So that's how you avoid any kind of biases. Then we have a culture within the organization where every leader has to observe and make inferences. So an Excel sheet is maintained, and that document has names of all the members of that team. And what we tell all the leaders is that you just observe and infer. You don't make your judgment. You don't form an opinion. Now, if somebody has come late today, you just put the date and came in late. That's it. Similarly, all the observation, you just have it with you, so that when you sit down, and you can't have annual reviews in a high growth environment or a super high growth environment. Annual is too long.
Yeah, too
So
late.
you need to have quarterly reviews. So when you are doing quarterly reviews, you have that track record where you have observed and you have drawn inferences. So it's all there in front of you. And that's how you ensure that your own bias doesn't come in. How many times he has came to you and been very good to you in terms of networking? That's not important. What is important is alignment with value systems in terms of his conduct behavior with a corporate etiquette requires, in terms of his deliverables on what he is building or she is building. So that is what you're observing, and it's there documented. So you're not relying on your memory, you're not relying on your judgments, etc. So that's how in terms of process and systems in place, and everybody adhering to it ensures that this is maintained. It is difficult in terms of this being practiced consistently, but it needs to be done.